massive thank you to Emmanuel, Jasper, Sean, Porter and Aaron for subscribing to the channel. If you're not already featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 14 of Season 3 of the F1 22 My Team Career Mode. Yes, we're back in Belgium, Circuit Spa-Francorchamps this weekend, and yeah, safe to say recent races have been a bit of a rollercoaster for us in the My Team series. If you missed out on the last video from the Hungaroring, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. Of course, there will be spoilers in just a moment, but I just want to say as well, a massive thank you to all of you for the continued support on the channel. At the time of recording this, we've now ticked off 87,000 subscribers. We're well on our way towards 90k, so if you're not already, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed. Trying to hit 100k by the end of the year. It is going to be quite close, but I think if we keep pushing, we can certainly try to get there before the end of 2022. Currently, though, we've actually got quite a few upgrades now in the works. 2 more Ultimate Powertrain upgrades should bring us closer to Mercedes, McLaren, Red Bull and Ferrari once more at the top of the championship. We're waiting just to try and get some more facility upgrades over on the chassis side of things, then we can try and pile on the last few upgrades down there as well. So yeah, making good progress. We just need a bit more money at this stage of the campaign. Championship-wise, though, Bottas has been on a tear over the last couple of races. 2 dominant wins around La Castellane and the Hungaroring last weekend means he's now got a 34-point lead over Max Verstappen in the championship. We're 59 points back now, with just 9 races to go of the season, including today. It's not an insurmountable goal, but it is certainly getting bigger and bigger each and every weekend. So we've got to try and hope that we can get a good run of form back on the board, try and take some wins and steal some points away from Valtteri Bottas as we head out of the summer break and into the second half of the year. But Belgian Grand Prix, let's see what we can try and do today. Right, well, here we are then, back at Circuit Spa-Francorchamps. Of course, very old school, steeped in history, the Belgian GP circuit. Whoa, big wobble there at turn 1. I am looking forward, actually, to seeing the new updates to the circuit in the future as we head down in towards Rouge and Radion for the first time this weekend. Of course, yeah, completely pinned as always, but always still a little bit scary the first time you go through there at the start of a fresh weekend. I would genuinely love to know how many laps around Spa I've done, not only on the F1 games, but just on video games in general. Because, I mean, there's no doubt about it, it is genuinely in the thousands, but, I mean, you can't beat this place. It's such a good track. And, I mean, it's not even just a good track in Formula 1 cars, that's the thing. I can't think of many tracks that suit so many cars in the way Spa does. Unless it's Gran Turismo, I cannot stand this track on GT7. Over the line, though, that's going to be a purple score to start the weekend. Right, on to the good fuel saving program then. Let's see how much we're going to be able to save around a lap here. Need to enable more short shifting at turn 1 as we immediately just dip into the red. But as always, looks like we've got pretty good straight line speed actually around Spa. So hopefully, yeah, we can just lift and coast through the middle sector and try and save up the delta. Heading in towards the final couple of corners though as we head through the bus stop. You can certainly tell on the throttle tracer where I've been lifting out early around this track, but out of the final corner, that's going to be another purple score. Perfect start to the weekend. Let's jump over into qualifying. Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, the choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like. Right, well here we are, qualifying Saturday then from the Belgian Grand Prix, and I'd argue this place is probably 3rd or 4th best track when you get a lap really hooked up around here. Monaco, Saudi Arabia are definitely still the top 2 for most satisfying when you get it all hooked up. But out of the final corner then, up to over the start-finish line, short shift out of the final corner, avoid the bump when you try to activate the DRS. Let's sort of see what times we can be aiming for. Red Bull set the benchmark in Q1, both cars down on a 42 flat. Valtteri Bottas was a couple of tenths away, and Lando Norris, as often always, seemingly able to get everything out of any car he's given. He was running up in P3, going quicker than the McLaren, but yeah, we need to get a low to mid 42 here if we want to see ourselves into Q3, but I'm just experimenting a couple of different things with wing angles to see how much downforce we can... Whoa. Apparently, yeah, we're going to need a bit more downforce than that in towards the middle sector. Heading up through the final couple of corners, though, despite that one mistake, the rest of the lap actually has felt quite good. I think we just struggled maybe a bit too deep on the brakes there, but out of the final corner then, just stuck a little bit close behind Pierre Gasly than I would want. 42.6. It's not a brilliant time there, just 300ths away from Bottas, though. So maybe, yeah, this front wing, as long as I remember to brake a bit earlier down the end of the Kemmel Straight, we should be good. Right, well, Charles Leclerc has been able to get his Ferrari into the 1 minute 41, so that is now the benchmark for everyone to chase towards the end of Q2. I'm stuck a bit close to Mick Schumacher in the slipstream through the final couple of corners, but we've got one of the Mercedes, I'm guessing it's George Russell, just behind us out of the final turn. Mick's luckily going to peel out the way. I was hoping to try and get a little bit of slipstream from him down through the first corner, but we won't get it this time round, so we'll try and keep it clean and tidy there. A little bit of wheel spin on the exit turn 1, but currently we're still sat inside the top 10. May as well just go out there because we can't do 3 runs around Formula 1's longest circuit. 7 kilometres this track bends around the Ardennes Forest, but yeah, let's see if we can actually nail the end of the first sector here. I'm just going to brake ever so slightly earlier. There you can see where I locked up last time, and that's immediately going to push us up into the green there. A lot of curb though through the next corner. Just got to be a bit careful. Well, we will definitely make it through into Q3, but purple through the middle sector goes to show we've actually still got quite a lot of downforce then on the car apparently, but what is this time going to be? Could we dip into those 41s as well there? Join Charles Leclerc in that very, very quick time, braking down in towards the bus stop. Second gear through the first part, first gear through the second, just to get the rotation nice and tidy on the traction on the way out, and that is P3 at the end, no, P2 even, at the end of Q2 there. 41.9, very, very happy with that. Well, there we go then, looking at the times at the end of Q2 there. Charles Leclerc, 3/100ths of a second faster than ourselves. Zhou Guanyu, though, out in Q2. Not what McLaren would want. They're just behind Lewis Hamilton, who sneaks by into the third qualifying session. But yeah, if we get it hooked up, we can certainly be right there for pole position today. We're going to need some sweat mode laps, though. We've got to try and get it hooked up. Well, we have got a really big, good chance of pole position here this evening, so we need to make sure that we get both of these laps nailed there, just to try and get everything hooked up as best as possible. Just going to try and leave nothing on the table on this first run, and hope that we can get a benchmark on the board. Car just in front of us, I think that must be Valtteri Bottas as he crosses over the line. Of course, the big goal at the moment is try and take points out of him week in, week out between now and the end of the season, and just see how close that can bring us by the time we get to Abu Dhabi. Well, so far this first lap then has felt pretty well hooked up as we head up in towards the final couple of corners of this run. If we're close to a 41 again, I'll be pretty happy with that. It's just starting to feel a little bit of dirty air behind Valtteri Bottas through the final couple of corners there. Car tries to snap out, but out towards the line. 42.0 is Verstappen. I'd completely missed that. The Dutchman on a 41.5. That is a phenomenal lap time. Red Bull have well and truly got rid of the sandbags. Trying to stay out of the way of the other cars here. 20 seconds left on the clock. Luckily, we're giving ourselves enough time at the end of at the end of any qualifying session this weekend to make sure we get a lap in there. But up over the start-finish line then, we've got half a second to try and close up to Max Verstappen. That is a big, big goal. But we're not going to give up yet. We're going to try and give it our all. these cars about to head back into the pit lane just in front of us still. It's not exactly costing us time, but it is certainly a distraction as we head through the final corner of this qualifying lap. There are a couple of small mistakes as the laps unfolded. We do manage it though. Somehow out of the final corner, we clutch up, and that's pole position here in Belgium. Get in there. I was not expecting that one when we crossed the line.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top three today. Mr. Monaco, Verstappen and Sergio Perez. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
Look at that, a second clear of Lewis Hamilton here at the Belgian Grand Prix qualifying session, and like I said, I was not expecting that. We found about another 1/10.5 out of the final corner, which pushed us ahead of the Dutchman there, but Sergio Perez P3 ahead of Ricciardo, Bottas down in P5. That is perfect for us if we want to try and take some points out of him, but once again, we've clutched up pole here at the Belgian Grand Prix. Can we do it though, when it comes to 22 laps on a Sunday? This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto.
We're in Belgium once again for today's round of the Formula 1 World Championship. It's a race that the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since Michael Schumacher back in 1992. Spa-Francorchamps then, a historic 19-corner circuit with a lap distance of 4.35 miles. There's over 100 metres of elevation change here, and with long stretches of the lap spent flat out, a good top speed will be vital for success. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Mr. Monaco lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas and Leclerc, Hamilton, Russell, Norris and Esteban Ocon, Joe, Oscar Piastri, Pierre Gasly and Mick Schumacher, Latifi, Albon, Lance Stroll and Kevin Magnussen, Ticktum, Tsunoda, Drugovich and Robert Schwartzman. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. With the Grand Prix nearly upon us, Anthony Davidson is by my side once again to offer his perspective. Let's talk about Mr. Monaco. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
Right, well here we are then on the grid here at Spa-Francorchamps. Of course, took our pole position in the Haas Road to Glory round here a few weeks ago. So yeah, certainly a happy hunting ground for us on F1 22. But yeah, mediums to hard, the strategy is always around this venue. We just want to try and keep it clean and tidy at the start. But yeah, it's not often we get pole position on F1 22, so we've got to enjoy these formation laps whilst we can. I mean, surely Max Verstappen's got to be able to keep up with me on these formation laps. Well, after the 10 car lengths rule, as we head through the final couple of turns, but yeah, let's wait and see then if they all do bunch up once more. Gives us a good chance to build up more heat though into the rear tyres, so we'll just try and do that as best as possible then. Just going to try and angle the car actually quite aggressively towards the outside here. Just want to try and cover off the Dutchman. Okay, I wasn't done! No, it's not ideal. I wasn't finished! Oh,
Okay,
code
so
is,
that's the rest
please.
of the grid forming up now. Be patient and watch for those lights.
Right, let's do it though. Belgian Grand Prix time. 22 laps around Formula 1's best circuit. Fingers crossed we can keep it clean and tidy at the start. We'll probably lose the place to Max. I mean, I'm basically starting alongside him with how far behind our grid box we are. But 5 red lights. And it is going to be lights out. And away we go. And actually, neither Verstappen or myself getting a good start as we head down towards turn 1. Perez is going to try and come up the middle there. We're going to aggressively cut the nose off out of turn 1 there and just try and let the Red Bulls trip over each other. Bottas, a good start as well, just behind, immediately up into P4 there and trying to attack his main championship rival in Max Verstappen as we head up through a Rouge and Ranion for the first time. Look at Perez! Where has this pace come from? The Mexican clean around the outside as we head up the Kemmel Straight there. Max Verstappen is going to try and do the same thing there, and we really are running too much downforce then, it would appear, as Perez tries to give his teammate room at the top of the hill there. Verstappen gets a bit caught out. We get a big chunk of wheel spin. Whoa, as we try and put the power down the other side there, and Perez now immediately going to try and set sail off into the distance there. Max Verstappen again trying to hook it up around the outside there, but he'll swap back in to P3 just behind us. As again, a little bit of understeer as we try and build up temperature on this open lap. Here comes Valtteri Bottas trying to have a look up the inside there. Verstappen tries to get the inside of myself through P1. It's all tripping over each other early on there. Bottas very wisely, I should say, try and backed out of it down in towards the corner there, because we could have almost ended up being 3 wide into P1 on lap 1 there. Max Verstappen, though, still trying to work a way around myself there, as we just haven't got the tyre temperature early on in this Grand Prix. But out of the end of sector 2, 1.5 seconds back from Sergio Perez then. Now we're going to try and use a bit of battery, bring ourselves closer once more to the Mexican, but we are definitely running a bit too much downforce then around this circuit. Apparently gave us a big helping hand come Saturday's qualifying runs, but yeah, of course, when you've got all the power, everything like that, you can afford to run a bit more downforce. Of course, race trim, just got to be a bit careful, of course, as Sergio Perez leads the way then at the end of lap 1 of the Belgian Grand Prix there. It's been quite dramatic between the 3 big championship rivals. I mean, Perez not far behind myself as well, of course, remember, but we do hang on to P2, and now we've got to try and keep Verstappen and Bottas at arm's length, and hopefully get out of the DRS range and into the range of Checo. At the final turn, we do go quicker than Sergio Perez, but Max Verstappen goes quicker than me then. Now we've got the tyres up to temperature. They definitely seem to be working there, and we're taking a lot of time out of him through the middle sector, but we're still not going to be within DRS range there. And look at that, Verstappen is certainly within range of me. I mean, he's 6 tenths back when we go through the detection point. It wouldn't surprise me if he's side by side with us down the end of the Kemmel Straight here, even though we're on the battery. He's just got no top-end speed against a lot of these other cars there. Checo's pulling away. We have really taken the setup the wrong way early on here, but now when we get back into the middle sector there, you can just see we're able to attack the curbs. It's this corner as well, but we always seem to be able to make up a couple of tenths there. Just seem to be able to hang the car on through the corner, and now the gap comes back down the other way to Checo there. 8 tenths of a second, very briefly. Will we now be able to stay within range and give ourselves a chance to defend from Max behind, as Bottas just doesn't quite seem like he's got the pace to match any of us, the top 3. It's going to be so close between Checo and I'm having to use so much battery through the final few corners here just to make sure we get within the range of the Mexican there. Oh, big lock-up though down at the final corner. Had to cadence brake massively just to make sure we didn't fire ourselves off the circuit, but luckily we do get the DRS. Will we hang on to it though when we get back out on towards turn 2? Verstappen again going even quicker though behind us. Oh, a little bit of a wobble. Will that be enough? I think it might just. Max Verstappen again though, he's going to be all over me, but we're closing in on Perez, but it's just not good enough at the moment. So we head up through a Rouge and Ranion once more. Here comes Max Verstappen in that Red Bull. He's got DRS, he's got battery. Look at that, that's a rocket ship. In comparison there, Max Verstappen immediately slots him into P2 of the Grand Prix, but how much more grip will we have through the next couple of corners here? This is just the difference between ourselves and the Red Bull car there, as Verstappen hangs the back end of that Red Bull out, trying to put the power down. Whoa, that just goes to show how much more grip we've got through the lower speed stuff. Again, Verstappen another new fastest lap of the day, as now he's going to try and apply some pressure to Perez at turn 1 there. But I mean, we're going to have the DRS, but it's pretty pointless for us. Hopefully, no, we've even brought Bottas just inside the range now momentarily. So really not doing ourselves any favours early on in this Grand Prix. We're going to have to play really strategic here against those Red Bull cars, as will Max Verstappen get the run on Checo. I don't think he's quite going to be close enough this time round, but we've got to work out how we can really try and outfox the pair of them. Here comes Verstappen again, though, on Sergio Perez. Will this time round he be able to get a run there? Oh, they're jockeying and diving in towards the middle sector, but Checo again will just about hang on ahead of his teammate there, as we're going to try and capitalise. Oh, Max Verstappen! Big slide. We have to get out of it just at the last moment there, but we've got so much more grip. Can we go around the outside, down the hill there? Will Max Verstappen give me the room? We just about stay alongside. We get squeezed now over the curbing. This is brilliant racing early on, and then once more Bottas is right back in it. You are not having a look up the inside again there, Max Verstappen, as we run ever so slightly wide over the curbing, but Checo Perez once more might just be given a lifeline here to try and break free, but that's what we got to do. We just got to take the chances when they come in our direction. Just still got to be super careful, because we are certainly at a disadvantage in race trim. It's so easy to make up time down the straights. It's a bit more difficult to guarantee you're making it up through the corners. As here we go, Checo just gets it over the 1 second margin once more. We're going to have to continue to use the battery just to try and dip it back below. There we go. And the play so methodical early on. I know I've said it before many a time, but Formula 1 is just like chess, and in chess you don't get big lockups like that down in towards the bus stop chicane. That's going to put us under a lot of pressure once more. We've almost run out of battery though, as here comes Max Verstappen up towards the end of the Kemmel straight there. We'll try and hook it up around the outside of the Dutchman, attack the curbs nice and tidy through the second part there. It was a big bump on the exit, a nice wobble that time round, but we have to get within the range of Checo Perez here. We need to try and build up a little bit of a gap over Max Verstappen, but he is, despite those low wings, so quick through this middle sector still. We just can't pull out the gap we need, and Checo just seems to be able to keep the gap that he needs in front of us. Oh, again, just a little bit wide there. We've got to be careful with that. You can only get away with that so many times in this race, but of course even the middle sector of Spa-Francorchamps, pretty high speed when you think about it. Oh, well, I think that is one advantage we might just have in our back pocket against the AI at the moment. It seems like Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez have been really shredding through those tyres in those Red Bulls. We're starting to think a bit more time there, and I think, yeah, for the first time in a long time, the gap to Checo was close to the gap to Max behind there as we head through the final couple of corners. I think the team will want us to box at the end of lap 10. We should get confirmation in just 1 second. Yes, they do. So the team want us in at the end of this one, as, yeah, our times haven't really fallen off just yet, but Checo's definitely struggling, and so is Verstappen behind. There we go, official confirmation, 3/10 a lap. Max falling back behind us there as Checo tries to break out of the DRS range, but can't quite manage it. So again, just hanging on between the white lines. But if we can leave Bottas and Verstappen to battle behind, that can be really useful in the second half of this GP. But yeah, we might be close to Perez when we box this one. Depends which Red Bull is diving into the pits first. So here we go then, all over the back of Checo. By the time we're heading up through the final sector once more, it's both Red Bulls versus two orange cars, at least on the mini-map. Heading down then, are we going to see Perez dive into the pit lane at the end of this one? No, we're not. All over his gearbox as we head into the pit lane there. Verstappen in though behind Bottas as well, so the three championship top three all into the pit lane together there as Daniel Ricciardo is going to jump up into P2 of this race as well. Are we going to see any of them get held up a little bit further back there? There's an Alpine heading into the pit lane, I think, of Lando Norris. So I can really do us some favours there if Lando was able to hold him up. Let's just wait and see. 2.4. Doesn't like he had. Actually, looks like he might have done a little bit. Trying to get out of the pit lane clean and tidy. Obviously, got to remember the cold rubber there. And yeah, I wonder if Lando did hold him up slightly. There's the gap. I mean, it's still under 1 second, but the gap is definitely up a little bit. Is Charles Leclerc. Whoa, big wobble through there. He's going to be out ahead of Bottas, so Bottas has definitely lost out in this. He is now a good couple of seconds away. It really does depend on how destroyed Checo's tyres are. Of course, the tyre wear whisperer, Sergio Perez, usually, but this race hasn't quite been that whole story. The usual narrative here is getting towards half distance, as Lewis Hamilton as well to the pit lane. But yeah, trying to keep Verstappen at bay. Of course, that's the other big important thing at the moment. Is that in the final quarter once more? Finally seems to have learned how to put the power down out of there, but he's going to be close between us and Checo as Charles Leclerc New fastest lap of the day, heading out of the pit lane. Have we got the jump there? Yes, we have. And up into the lead then of the Grand Prix, Sergio Perez has been well and truly screwed through that pit cycle. Charles Leclerc now up into the podium places before he dives in for his next stop. But Sergio Perez then has been relegated down to P3 in the net race then. Max Verstappen, again, he's going to come at me, but we can't really do a lot against it. Here comes the Dutchman. All we can do is try and hook it up around the outside on the brakes, which we'll absolutely try to do there. And the Dutchman will give me the room, but we will try and just hang on for now then. But yeah, if we can try and get ahead, build up a 1 second. Max! I mean, that is the Max Verstappen you're more likely to see in Formula 1. That big dive as we head down the hill, and that really did take me by surprise for one brief moment. But will the Dutchman have superior pace in that Red Bull car? That's what we've got to ask ourselves, as that is possibly the worst line through P1 I've taken today. Still trying to use the extra bit of downforce we've got to launch ourselves at the final couple of turns. I just don't think we're going to have the top end speed up the Kemmel straight there. Is gaining on Max Verstappen once more. We're going to try and look to the outside. We're going to switch to the inside though right at the last moment there, and the Dutchman does just about spot us. We'll try and give us the room. We'll park on the apex through the final turn, and we will stay in P2 for now then. Charles Leclerc though, what strategy is Charles Leclerc trying to do in this Grand Prix? Is he already boxed? Is he up into a net P3 here on a set of mediums to go to the end? I really don't know, but let's wait and see. What is the straight line speed like against Max Verstappen then, when he's the one without the DRS? We're going to use battery all the way up through Eau Rouge and Radion once more there. Lap 13 of 22 here at Spa-Francorchamps. You can see we are gaining, but it is nowhere near enough there. 215 miles an hour. We're going to have to make the difference through the twisty bits. As again, you can just see we're able to sit on those curbs a lot more comfortably than the Red Bull. Not that one though. Big kick of oversteer that we had to snap out quite rapidly, but keep it pointing in the right direction, as it's really this corner. You can see every time through there we take a lot out of that Red Bull. I'm so scared that we just need to try and get past Max Verstappen once more, but I know if we get past him down around these final couple of corners, he's just going to jump me again up the Kemmel straight. So we've got to try and be really methodical with this. It's such a difficult game there. Just look at how aggressive the Dutchman trying to defend from me there. Gets all four wheels on the curbs down through the final couple of turns, but can we just try and keep it clean and tidy? These big traction zones out of the final and first corner, so difficult to try and manage. Let's see what we can do out in turn 1. A little bit deep on the way in, but Verstappen as well trips over himself slightly, as well actually use the orange curbing. Don't often get away with that on F122, but it's going to really help us. So we head down in towards Eau Rouge and Radion once more there. Really nice flat run through the corner. They take a lot of curb off the top of the hill, but surely this time around then we're going to be able to get a run on Max Verstappen. To the outside we'll go. Drag racing with the Dutchman once more here in the Belgian Grand Prix, and round the outside we'll go. Back into the lead of the race once again, and now we've just got to try and pull away through this middle sector. Back finally into the lead, as I'm still a bit confused how Charles Leclerc's ended up where he has, but fair play Ferrari. Seem to be making sensible strategy calls for once. Well, here we go once more, Max Verstappen. We're going to actually try and go defensive this time on the Dutchman there, as he has a look round the outside up the Kemmel straight once again, and even earlier on the brakes it felt like that time, and we'll swoop back through. We will hang on to the lead once more then, as 7 laps to go here at Spa. You can see that time around it really cost him a lot of time to head down through Malmedy. I think, yeah, the gap up to 1 second, albeit briefly. Just got to keep pushing around this lap, try and break out of the DRS, and hope Charles Leclerc can do something from behind. It's all again, just seem to get a little kick of understeer through P1 more often than not, and it is starting to surprise me as the tyres are getting a bit more worn, but yeah, got to try and keep Max Verstappen at bay. They're attacking the curbs, making the track as wide as possible. These are critical corners in this Grand Prix. There is again another little snap of oversteer. Go a very quick correction to stamp it out, but again you can just see now the extra momentum that Verstappen is able to carry up and towards the final couple of corners, and that once more means we have to use the battery to try and balance it out against the Dutchman there. He's not going to have the DRS at the final corner, but of course that's not really the one we're worried about. It's way too early on the brakes there. We're starting to get a bit nervous later on in the afternoon. They're trying not to make errors, but they are starting to creep in. 1.1 seconds. This could be race defining our run out of this turn one there. There's a lot of curb on the way in. A little bit of wheel spin in third and fourth gear there. And again, look at that 2/10 gained for the Dutchman. We just cannot get out of that range. This time round, 5 laps to go of the race. We can keep it clean and tidy through these critical 3 corners around the lap. They don't seem like 3 critical corners normally, but on F122, they absolutely are. They're 1.1. We almost set a new fastest lap of the day, or our new fastest lap of the day, but I should say, is can we again put the power down out of turn 1? They use the battery. 1 second. Oh, it just floats. It just floats under. Max Verstappen every time just dips that gap back under slightly, but luckily now he's too far back to really attack us. So it means that we do get a clear run through the next couple of turns. But again, we have pretty much got no battery left. We're going to have to be really smart still. And basically just trying to do qualifying laps to the checkered flag. Oh, we've got yellow flags out. Someone's got issues further back. I think it might be Lando Norris dropping to the wayside in this Grand Prix late on in the afternoon. And another really strong drive from Lando. And unfortunately, the Renault E-Tech power unit in the back of that car is going to put an end to what would have been a decent haul of points there for he and the team. Heartbreak for Lando Norris late on in the day, but we have got much, much bigger things to worry about. The gaps of Verstappen still floating. Oh, this might be the lap. Lap 20 or 22. We've done it. 1.1 seconds now over Max Verstappen. I think those Red Bulls are just starting to chew through their tyres again a little bit more. And could we now see Verstappen under pressure from Charles Leclerc in the dying stages of this Grand Prix? What's weird now is I want Checo to actually keep Bottas at bay, of course, because that helps us out bigger picture in the championship. But we've pushed so hard throughout so much of this Grand Prix. We have now finally got that 1 second margin over Max Verstappen. The first time today anyone has led by over a second, if you exclude the lap Checo was out by himself there. In fact, no, I think there were a couple of laps early on as well, but it has been just tooth and nail between the top 5 throughout so much of this race. We are still good on fuel, luckily. That was something I certainly haven't wanted to worry about today. Look at this, Max Verstappen really starting to fall off then with just over a lap to go here at Belgium. The gap to Charles Leclerc down to just 0.6 of a second. And suddenly, starting just to get a little bit more relaxed, just a little bit calmer in the dying stages here in Spa. I mean, in a perfect world, Leclerc would get the jump on Verstappen as well there. And Perez, of course, looks like he might just stay ahead of Valtteri Bottas as well late on in the day. But Red Bull's top-end speed has been ferocious today. Really does worry you for tracks like Monza coming up in just a couple of weeks' time. But of course, we've got to remember, we've got 2 big power unit upgrades coming next weekend, ready for Zandvoort there as well. I think Verstappen might just, he's using all of his battery, has just snuck within the 1 second range once more. But I don't think he's going to be close enough this time round as we head up the Kemmel Straight. But it will certainly give him a firm defence from Charles Leclerc behind there. Like I said, I've got no idea how Charles Leclerc has been able to work his way to P3 there and hang on, unless he did soft mediums in this race, or did a really short stint on the hards early on. It makes no sense, but fair play, Charles Leclerc's managed it somehow today. Once more, Ferrari springing a surprise in this championship, but just trying to calm it down slightly on this final lap here. It's been 22 of the most hard-fought laps I think I've done on this game there. Red Bull have been phenomenal. Obviously, Bottas in that McLaren is still just a lethal mixer. I'm sure he's going to be a bit unlucky to finish off P5 when all is said and done there. But Charles Leclerc, fair play to him and Ferrari, have often come on strong actually. Did the same thing last season, came on strong in the second half of the campaign. Could we see the same thing this season as well? They're heading up towards the final couple of corners though. Max Verstappen trying to close in the gap on myself. He actually is doing quite a good job of it. Gets the gap down to 0.4 of a second there, but I think he has run out of battery. Breaking down then in towards the final couple of turns. We are going to walk away with the Belgian Grand Prix victory. A critical win as F1 returns from the summer break by just a couple of tenths.
Great drive! We did it! Good job! We did it!
So after a day of mixed fortunes up and down the field, we bring today's race to a close. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Welcome then to the podium, our top 3 drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race. And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. Our championship leader is still sat at the top of the standings, but their rivals have made up some solid ground today. Well, after an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Charles Leclerc showed exactly how to manage yourself out on the track today. He was almost flawless out there. Incredible stuff.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. And pulling further ahead in the standings, it's Red Bull. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
Well, there we are then. That's the end of the Belgian Grand Prix there, and yet again, another race victory on the board. I think that's our fourth or fifth of the season this weekend here at Circuit Spa. But pole position as well. Couldn't have gone much better for us. We could have tried to get the fast lap bonus point, but yeah, those Red Bulls, that top end speed, we were never quite going to be able to get that there. And I mean, look at that, 5 cars separated by less than 3 seconds come the checkered flag. It really was nip and tuck right the way throughout there. Daniel Ricciardo 6th ahead of Hamilton, Ocon, Russell, and Zhou Guanyu there. Mercedes, yeah, really disappointing weekend, of course. I mean, all their hopes are relied completely on George Russell, but Latifi down in P13 means championship-wise, we have taken good points out of the top runners there. Valtteri Bottas 26 clear of Verstappen. We're just a further 18 back, though, behind the Dutchman, and now we're closer once more to Max Verstappen than Sergio Perez is to us there. Charles Leclerc waiting in the wings in P5 there, 77 points off the top of the championship as well. Daniel Ricciardo now jumps past Teo Pourchaire. Lewis Hamilton gets past Esteban Ocon as well. Obviously, just slowly moving his way up the order, and I don't think it's going to be long before he jumps Pourchaire as well either in the championship. Constructors-wise, though, Red Bull again further extending the lead at the top of the table. We're actually now closer to McLaren than Ferrari are to us, so maybe, of course, with Hamilton alongside us, we could try and just get closer to P2 by the end of the year. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we will return very, very soon with more F1 22 content. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.